the zone, and the president offering his reassurances today that the U.S. will not be sending troops to Ukraine to defend against Russia after seemingly leaving the option open yesterday. Joining us to break this all down on the latest of the war in Russia, Strategic Director for Concerned Veterans for America, John Byrnes. Good to see you, John.
Good to see you again, Marina. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. Okay, so let's talk what's happening here, because it seems as though the prospect of a potential trilateral meeting, that's what the president has been calling this, a trilad, he says he's open to. Is there any sense that this truly could happen, to have Zelensky, Putin, and Trump in the same room?
Well, fingers crossed. Diplomacy is always a tough road. Seems to be moving forward. People have been very critical of the process, but diplomacy is a process. It takes step-by-step, accretions in order for there to be some kind of success. At some point, Mr. Zelensky and Mr. Putin, either with Trump in the room or by themselves, are going to sit down and need to kind of finalize any kind of peace agreement.
It's at least from the European leaders yesterday. They made some security guarantees to allow this to move forward here. There was that hot mic moment there with the president speaking to the French president, to Emmanuel Macron, saying, crazy, Putin's looking to make this deal for me. What do you make of that? The press corps really trying to harp on that today.
Well, yeah, it seems like the press corps has a lot of folks who just don't want to see a peace deal. They're just fixated on defeating Putin. And the facts on the ground are really simple. There's only four possible outcomes. Either Ukraine loses, there's a very prolonged war, there's a wider war, or finally there's a negotiated peace. And out of those, there's only one that's really a positive settlement.
20% right now of occupation from Russia into Ukraine, roughly. In the midst of the meeting with Zelensky at the White House, offensives from Russia into Kharkiv. I mean, clearly no sense from Putin here that he's willing to work through the diplomatic route.
He did meet with Trump, so he's at least talking. Don't know what he's going to do next. Obviously, the moves have been with Trump, the Europeans, and Zelensky. There is some troubling kind of information there. I think one of the biggest pills that Vladimir Putin's been very, very clear that he doesn't want to swallow, that he won't swallow, and in fact was kind of a casus belli. One of the reasons he started this war is those security guarantees, right? He started this war, publicly stated and easily analyzed to be true, that he didn't want to see Ukraine join NATO. So security guarantees are pretty close to that. So I don't know how they're going to work through that. I'm glad to hear that it's not going to be U.S. boots on the ground. That really frustrated and frightened me as a veteran with friends who are still serving. That's at least a relief, but I'm really, really circumspect about how these security guarantees can actually work and be palatable to Mr. Putin.
So, I mean, what I'm hearing from you, at least, you don't see this ending anytime soon?
Well, I think that the talks are ongoing. And again, everybody's going to have to agree to give up something that they're asking for. The only way negotiations are going to work is to find that middle ground where everybody can just barely swallow the meal, right?
So is there the sense, you think, that that middle ground, if you want to call it that, is Ukraine giving up the occupied territory?
The territory and the security guarantees are the two most fraught parts. I think that there can be a way to work out the security part through armed neutrality, where Ukraine is allowed to keep enough weapons to defend itself to the point it has now, right, where Russia just cannot take over the country, and it's allowed to continue to trade for the West for those defensive weapons. The territory is going to be a problem for Zelensky on his side. It's really tough. A lot of those territories were part of Russia. I mean, most of Ukraine at one point or another was part of the Russian Empire. There are Russian speakers there. The Donbass and the Crimean Peninsula have always been kind of key to Russia's view of its own security needs. So there's a lot to work out. But again, unless we want a wider war, a longer war, or to see complete Ukrainian defeat, we have to keep talking.
All right, John, thanks for the analysis. We'll keep watching to see if this trilateral ever happens here with the three people, and at least with Trump saying he's not going to negotiate, but he'll be a mediator of sorts. Thank you, John.
Have a great afternoon.